Welcome to the Grassroots Army Podcast. This platform is for common sense people looking for up-to-date, accurate, and truthful information without the hot garbage corporate media bias. The power of one can lead to the power of many. You never know what small act that you may say or do that may literally change the lives of millions tomorrow. And don't you ever think that you can't make a difference, because you can. Good morning, my fellow Michiganders. Good morning, my fellow Americans. Welcome to the Grassroots Army Podcast. I'm, of course, your host, Garrett Soldano, and it's hunting week, baby. This Friday's opening day, so I got my beard going on. But every time I grow out my beard, there just appears to be a little bit more gray in there. Call me the Silver Fox. Here we go. Happy Veterans Day to all of the men and women who have and continue to serve this wonderful country. We can't thank you all enough for your sacrifice and service. So happy Veterans Day to my peoples out there. And we're going to get right after it today. We're going to talk about how the Democratic Party is in disarray, attacking each other, finding out what the heck going on. The blame game is going on. Nancy Pelosi is blaming people. Biden's blaming people. Obama's are staying silent. It just goes on and on and on. And I also read that Kamala Harris's campaign went into debt. I think something to the effect of $20 million. So that just shows the 74 million people that voted for President Trump that they voted right. We want someone who's going to run this country like a business. And if you can't run your own campaign efficiently, strategically, correctly, without going in debt, then you should not be running this country. My goodness gracious. So just another point to point out. That's why we need executives to run our states, to run our country, not social media influencers, not journalists, not legislators, because I believe those are just politicians influenced by lobbyists. I love business people who have real world business experience to lead our states and country, which we'll get into that narrative here in a little bit. But we are going to start off the day with a little bit of hot garbage. Okay, let's talk about my man, Chad Momber. I'm going to read this to you right now. Attention, Sparta residents. We are Sparta. Notice a public hearing, as most of you are aware, on September 17th, 2024. The Trump 47 committee leased our farm venue property to host a J.D. Vance rally. Clearly, this was a historic event for the Sparta community that day. It was. I actually got the honor of speaking, meeting J.D. Vance that day. It was absolutely fantastic. They did a phenomenal job, all those who were involved in that event. He says, I feel many enjoyed the event. I did. But it appears we have a board member, or maybe a few, that did not like the event, and they are now violating our venue for a list of things. On Tuesday night at 7 p.m., November 12th, that is tomorrow, folks, a public hearing will be held about this event. The board may consider to revoke our special use permit to have events at our venue. Anyone is welcome to attend this meeting. I encourage people to attend to support or complain if you feel this event was an issue. If you need more information prior to this meeting, feel free to reach out to me. This meeting has been moved to the Civic Center in Sparta. Thanks, Chad. His number is 616-292-4565. Now, folks, if you're interested in attending this meeting and have questions, give Chad a call. Sorry, Chad, to expose your number, but you put it on social media, and I'm trying to do everything that I can to get you support, because what is happening to you is what I like to say is hot garbage. Unbelievable. And that's what they're going to do. The Democrats are going to try to punish all of us if they have any type of power. That is the judicial system, that is your commissions, that is state government, you name it. They are going to throw hissy fits, and they're going to try to hammer down on us Trump supporters. So be aware of that. Be aware. Keep your head on a swivel, as we say. All right. Chad, I'm so sorry that you're going through this, my man. But I'm hoping the Grassroots Army and these wonderful folks will support you. And if they're in that area, show up in numbers to support you, Chad. So again, give him a call if you have any questions, and let's show this man some support and stand united, because the Democrats are in disarray, folks. Holy cow, they are. So let's get into some footage that I watched over this weekend that I shared on all of my platforms of them throwing some hissy fits. Here we go.
Is the This is just an epic disaster. This is a $1 billion disaster. Actually, it was $1.018 billion, I think, right? There were 20 million or $18 million in debt.
Right.
It's incredible. And I raised millions of that. I have friends that I have to be accountable to and to explain what happened because I told them it was a margin of error race. I was promised, Jen O'Malley Dillon promised all of us that Harris would win. She even put videos out saying that Harris would win. I believed her. My donors believed her. And so they wrote massive checks. I feel like a lot of us were misled. And even on the night of election night, Will, I looked somebody in the eye and I said, are we going to do this? Are we going to pull it off? She told me yes. And I asked somebody else, like, how are you feeling? He's like, we're going to win Iowa. And I was like, what?
Do you think, did they believe this going in? Was there a real sense of false confidence on the side of Kamala Harris? Or did they know they were in store for disaster?
I was wondering about that. I was like, I asked them, are you privy to internal numbers that I am not seeing? Because I study this so carefully, and I just wasn't seeing any basis for that level of confidence. And I also want to remind our viewers that, the Trump campaign was touting all of these incredible empirical data weeks before election night. What Harris is touting was the door knocking. She didn't say anything really about early voting. Now I know it's because there was nothing much to say.
Wow. Right. So a lot of these Democrats that supported the campaign and everything else, they're scratching their head going, what the heck happened? What the heck happened? Well, I tell you what happened is you guys fell apart. You went way radical. Your policies and everything else went way radical, from boys using girls' locker rooms and restrooms to men competing in women's sports to opening our borders to over the 10 million illegal immigrants that we know about that are flooded in, that have infiltrated every level of our lives. And that's a problem that President Trump is going to deal with. And hopefully he does, because I really believe there's going to be an illegal immigrant uprising here in the near future. And you're going to see the corporate media do what they do best: hammer down as a propaganda arm for the Democrat Party and just throw a narrative out there how President Trump is separating families and all these poor people just flooded our borders and they're just trying to look for a better life. And I can accept and agree with all that, but you come over here legally. If you came over here illegally, try again. Deport you, then come across legally, prove to us that you have something to contribute. We can't just take the whole world's immigration problem, right, and flood our borders, because then it will hurt our country. There was a video that was circulated long ago, 2 decades ago, that just shows how insane, if you let all these folks in, you're not really helping the world problem. You got to have those countries do it from within. And if all these great people are leaving those countries and coming over here, then all those great people who would solve those countries' problems should be solving those problems in their own country. That's how you solve this world problem. You can't just continue to have everybody float over here. We just don't have the logistics and everything else and the resources to help everyone and their mother. But if you come over here legally and we vet you and you're going to further our society in some way or somehow, then yes, come on over. We welcome all who wants to come and live the American dream. But sorry, folks, we just can't continue to police the entire world and help everyone else, because we need to help ourselves. Number one, right? Uno. So that's what the Democrat Party has done. The majority of Americans, a popular vote, we're going to get in the popular vote here in a second, did not buy into what the Democrats were selling. We didn't. We don't want it. And they continue to hammer down on some of this stuff, which is interesting that some of these Democrats just are scratching their head like, I wonder why we lost.
A lot of families out there who don't believe boys should play girls' sports.
They're not boys. I'm not going to listen to transphobia at this table. I am not going to listen to you call a trans girl a boy.
Are you going to allow me to finish my explanation?
When you use a word that's a slur, I'm going to interrupt. That's not how it is. They're not boys. They're not boys. They're not playing girls' softball. I'm not going to sit there and listen to that.
Let's reset for a second, because, look, this is a really heated issue, right? And Sharmichael, I know you. I know that you understand that people have different views on this. I think out of respect for Jay, let's try to talk about this in a way that is respectful.
Okay, so let me rephrase this since I'm being targeted here.
I don't. You're not. Just to be clear, you are not being targeted.
I am, but it's okay.
I'm specifically saying that I know that you are not intending to be transphobic.
He should know that I'm not. But he wants to sit here and
calling you transphobic. I'm saying you're using a phrase that you know.
So the way regular people interpret it,
that's not regular people. That's not regular people. There's no consensus that these are actually boys. This whole thing about trans girls is a canard. We're talking about a tiny, tiny sliver of the population.
That may be the
and we're using that
but my point in terms
to take away healthcare from thousands of people.
Hold on, just get to your point.
My point in terms of its effectiveness. Regular people with children look at these things and they say, you know what, this is a bit too far. I do not agree with this. I don't like this. I think Democrats are going way too much to the left on social issues. They're uncomfortable with it. A lot of people believe that. A lot of families believe that. You may disagree with that reality, but that's why Republicans kept running those ads over and over and over again, because they saw the metrics suggested that they were working.
In those ads over and over again and using rhetoric like you just used, saying this is boys playing girls sports. First of all, we're talking about 5 people in the entire country.
You would prefer?
We're talking about trans girls being allowed to play with the people who are in their gender. And if you don't believe, you don't have to listen to me. Listen to the American Medical Association, the American Psychological Association.
The American Medical Association.
This is not about the.
I can listen to that all day. I'm watching them just implode on one another. My goodness gracious, the guy had a great point. You know, people do not want. Look, and here's what I've been pushing out. If you're gay, if you're trans, bi, whatever you want to call yourself, you have a place in the Republican Party. We don't care. I can't say that enough. We do not care. You are welcome. You are welcome. If you want to change genders after the age 18, if you want to do any of those things and who you want to sleep, I do not care. Nobody cares. The majority of Republicans don't care. There's a few people out there are homophobic and everything else, sure. But the majority of Americans, this is not in the 70s or 80s anymore, the majority of Americans do not care. Here's where we care. Here's where I'm going to take a stand. Number one, if you put boys in girls' locker rooms and restrooms, no, that's horrible. You are violating those poor girls' rights for privacy and everything else. That is wrong. If you believe that men should be competing in women's sports, that's a problem with us. If you believe that you should be chemically castrating these young kids or mutilating their bodies before the age of 18, and you're a parent that supports this crap because you think it's virtuous, that's hot garbage. We care about that. Keep your indoctrination out of the public schools. Out of the public schools. Because what the research shows is that these kids who are questioning their sexuality, if you would just allow them to go through puberty and you support them and you talk about it with them through therapists and everything, these kids end up being, just accept themselves, their beautiful body on how God made them, and they accept themselves as gay. So who's truly homophobic? The crazy religious cult called the LGBTQ plus cult. That's who's homophobic. You're literally trying to mutilate these kids and tell these kids that, yeah, it's okay. Yeah, you're a gender. Go mutilate your body. That's homophobic. Just let these kids figure out themselves, and then they want to be gay. Great. Who cares? You're the ones who are homophobic, because I've talked to many, many gay folks who are very passionate about the community, said their community, LGBT community, was hijacked by these crazies, and they don't agree with it. So if you're gay and you're trans, you're welcome here. We do not care. We do not care. No matter what the Democrats want to push out, that's just what it is. But we do care about chemically castrating these kids, screwing up their hormones, mutilating their bodies, indoctrinating these kids in public schools and everywhere else. That's where we have a problem. It should not happen. Shame on you. Okay? So let me get into what's really hot topic right now. I'm seeing this all over our Telegram channels. A Grassroots Army Facebook group who's growing. We put like 4,000 more people in our Grassroots Army Facebook group, which is fantastic. Great conversations happening over there. But in Oscoda, Michigan, all right, there is supposedly a whole bunch of FEMA trucks that were just parked at the Air Force Base. This is what I read. So I see all the rumors going on. What's happening next? What are they prepping? This is what I've read so far. I don't know if this is true, but this makes the most logical sense to me as of right now. So I'm just reporting to you what I'm reading. So yes, the Air Force Base in Oscoda, Michigan is a Superfund site. There's contamination. The base was listed as a Superfund site in 1994 due to groundwater contamination from heavy metals, organic compounds, and polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons. That's a mouthful. In 2010, PFAS contamination was discovered. The cleanup, the Air Force is leading the cleanup efforts with EGLE providing oversight. So remediation is still ongoing as of 2022. So the FEMA trailers are for that, I think. That's what I read. So everyone out there, if you can confirm that, that would be great. Post that in the comments. Says, yes, this is happening, or no, the world's coming to an end because Trump is here. No, that makes more logical sense. So, but if you do find out something else, please let me know, message me, and then I'll try to do my best and my due diligence to bring you up-to-date, accurate, and truthful information. But that is all I have as of right now. Let's get into the last couple things I want to talk about today on this beautiful Monday, because Trump won and we won up and down the ticket, is the voter turnout. The voter turnout. Okay? I have to be very careful on how I say this so I don't end up in the gulag. However, 2020, as of right now, and the rumor is there's still votes out there that are being tallied. Not 10 million, but there are still votes coming in. And I'm waiting for the official count. All right. Who knows if they'll pad it or not? I don't know. But let's talk about some numbers. 2020, President Trump got 74,223,975 votes. In 2022, President Trump got 74,834,220 votes. A difference of, can't do math in my head real quick, 200,000 votes. President Trump increased his voter turnout from 2022 to approximately, well, I'm sorry, not 200,000, 600,000 more votes. Okay? 600,000 more votes President Trump approximately had from 2020 to 2022 or 2024. Excuse me. It's Monday. All right. 2024, this last election. So President Biden in 2020, there we go, Garrett, you got it, had 81,283,501 votes. In 2024, Kamala Harris, as of right now, had 71,239,698 votes. 10 million people. Where are they at? It wasn't like President Trump increased his voter turnout by 10 million and President Trump this time has 84 million and last time he had 74 million. There are literally 10 million people that they said that stayed home in the most energized election in the history of our species. Yes, I said it. Where are the 10 million votes? I want to know. I want to know. Okay? And here's why. If you interfere with our elections, that is very bad, right? Very, very bad. That is punishable, what I believe, to the fullest extent, a very severe punishment, right? It is catastrophic that you would interfere with our elections, okay? So that is tyranny. It truly is. Tyranny at its worst. Where are the 10 million votes? I want to know. If anyone has that information, I would like to know. Please send it to me. Because if some reason 10 million more votes get counted, I will come on here and I will eat a big old pie of humble pie. All right? And I'll say, nope, I was wrong. The voter turnout was just really good last time or whatever. Or if somehow President Trump gets another 10 million or Kamala Harris another 10 million, which they won't. Where's the 10 million votes, folks? Where are they at? I need to know, we need to know, because if there were shenanigans in the 2020 election, we need to prosecute to the fullest extent of the law all who were involved in that. That's truth. You never, ever mess with our elections. I'm going to take it a step further. So, all these folks who are rotting in prison right now for going to the Capitol, let me ask you this question. I had this question asked of me when I first started a couple of years ago. I was going around the state and I was talking to folks about President Trump and why he needs to win. And I was going through all these meetings and stuff. And a woman who was probably an independent came to a meeting and said she couldn't get out of her mind January 6th and all the horrible images that the propaganda arm of the Democratic Party, the corporate media was showing, right? It was so horrible. And she was so stressed about it and everything else. And I've been on my platforms many times. You have every right to peacefully protest. As soon as it turns violent, you lose your right to protest. Okay. But and this is what I asked her. I said, okay, let's say, let's take that election 2020 out. Let's just talk in broad terms here. What is our job as Americans if we find out that our government is corrupt? Right? What's our job? We are supposed to take it down and restart it, right? Get the people in who are going to clean it up. And if it doesn't get cleaned up, we the people still have the power. That's how it's supposed to be. We are not just supposed to sit back as Americans, just take our corrupt government and say, this is great. No, our job as Americans is to replace those corrupt individuals. And if they have done some things that are wrong, that are taking away our constitutional freedoms, our citizens' rights and sacred values, then our job of we the people is to stand up together and make sure that doesn't happen. So if these 10 million votes, nobody wants to talk about because they're probably scared of what America's going to do. No, it's accountability time. I tell you what's going to happen. Let's just be transparent. Let's find out if there was indeed, in fact, shenanigans into 2020. We all know, right? And then it's accountability time. That's what it is. The worst thing that you can do is try to sweep this underneath the rug and like it never happened. I even hear Republicans say that. Move on from this issue. No, I refuse. You guys saw me during the pandemic and the lockdowns and everything else. I refuse just to let things be swept underneath the rug. If there were mistakes that were made, if there was corruption, then we need to expose it and we need to hold these gosh darn people accountable so it doesn't happen again. So I'm not just going to sweep this underneath the rug and everything's fine. We're moving on because Trump won. No. It's accountability time because we have people literally rotting in prison right now because they took a stand. And one person that I highlighted, I brought him on, is Jeremy Brown. Free Jeremy Brown, President Trump. And all the other ones who are rotting in prison for no reason. This guy didn't even enter the Capitol, all right, on January 6th. And the FBI tried to recruit him, and he said no. And he's rotting in prison right now, and he refuses to settle. He will not settle. He will not sign a plea agreement because he continues to tell the FBI, I'm going to expose all of you. I'm going to bring you down. And that's what he did for the Green Berets. He was in like the PSYOP stuff and going to other countries and bringing it down. He said that's exactly what happened in America, and he's going to expose it all. Jeremy Brown is rotting in prison because this guy is still fighting for all of us. Free Jeremy Brown. Free this guy. And if you want to see that interview, go to our Rumble channel on Grassroots Army. Look up Jeremy Brown. It will be there. I can't post it on all the other platforms. But I interviewed this guy for like 2.5 hours, and holy cow, does he have a story. If you go on X, I strongly encourage you all to go on X. Find us at Grassroots Army, okay? Find us at Grassroots Army. Follow it. That's where free speech is right now. We the people are the media, by the way. Not the corporate media, not these people who try to brainwash everyone. We the people are the media, and that media is at X. Go to X. Start your account if you haven't. Get on there. Go to Grassroots Army. You can follow us. There's so many other people you can follow too. Tons of great information on there. That's one of the great platforms right now with free speech. Obviously, Rumble and our Telegram channels are. Facebook, getting a little better. Zuckerberg's claiming himself as a libertarian right now. We'll see. Still keep an eye on Facebook and Instagram. TikTok is garbage. Commie TikTok is still garbage. YouTube is garbage. They took me down twice, 250,000 followers. Took me down because I was exposing the border. They called it for hate. TikTok has taken me down several times, but I keep showing up like a hemorrhoid. And I will continue to do that. And I will continue to go on there and post. And then kick me off 1,000,000 times. I will continue to get on there and share the truth. But free Jeremy Brown. Free those folks who stood up for our country. And I want to know where those 10 million votes are. I do. I want to know. Because what happened in 2020 during the lockdowns and during the election should never, ever happen in this country. And if I had anything to do about it, I will continue to expose it. And I will not suicide myself. Keep that out there. Garrett's sitting there. Garrett's happy. I will not be suiciding myself. But there has to be accountability. Has to be accountability for the last election. Okay? And the last thing I want to cover today is there is a lot of people rumored to be running for governor on both sides of the aisle. Holy cow. There's Buttigieg, there's Dana Nessel, there's Jocelyn Benson, there's Dugan on the Republican side, there's John James, there's Tudor Dixon, there's Kevin Rinke, there's Eric Nesbitt. Even my name was thrown in there. Ladies and gentlemen, let me be the first one to tell you I will not be running for anything this election cycle. My role as of right now is to get behind the right candidate and support that candidate, because I made a vow to all of you that I would not quit until we restore the checks and balances of our beloved state. And that means we have to win in 2026. You have the holidays off, my grassroots army. But in January 2025, I will be activating all of you, because what I'm going to start doing is interviewing these potential candidates on the Republican side, because I know damn well that the Democrats will refuse to come on my show. I'll invite them, though. I'll invite them. I know Kevin Rinke's been doing that on his show. He's got a podcast called Beyond the Echo. Pretty good. He's been inviting, he did a video, I think, inviting Gretchen Whitmer, Jocelyn Benson, with the shenanigans of what happened to our election cycle this past election in 2024, just a week ago. But I want to get these folks on and interview them. Here's what I'm looking for as a citizen is an executive. I want someone with business experience, someone who knows how to build things and organize, be strategic, and follow the Constitution, all those great things that the Republican Party stands for. That's what I want. I don't want journalists. I don't want social media influencers. I don't even want legislatures. I don't. Those are politicians to me that have been contaminated, in my humble opinion, by lobbyists and been surrounding themselves with lobbyists and everything else. And that's why I really believe that we need someone with business experience. Because if you don't have a skill set and you're just running on bullet points and what you've been told to say, once you get into Lansing or any type of government, if you don't have any experience, guess who's going to give you that experience? Is the people who you surround yourself with. And unfortunately, in politics, they surround themselves with lobbyists. And so to me, that's the definition of insanity, which got us into this mess. I want to make sure that we're having the right people with some business skill set, with executive knowledge and leadership. And that's how I believe the state and the federal government should be run, with that kind of mindset, business. All right. To really look at things, don't overspend everything else, blah, 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 blah. So I want to bring these folks on. So for the people I just talked about, John James, Tudor Dixon, Kevin Rinke, and anyone else who is thinking about running, I'm going to invite you on the show and just have a conversation. I would like to talk to you about what you'd like to do to the state and everything else. I will be reaching out. And for anyone that denies to come on my show to have conversation with We the People, I will be calling you out in a nice way and say, hey, I invited you. Why don't you want to come on and be transparent? Just have a conversation with Garrett. And let me tell you, it's a whole heck of a lot more fun, 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 more fun.